Hello and welcome back to NWCL Beyond the Boundary. My name is Toby Donnelly, and today I'm joined by Padiham Cricket Club duo. To the left we have Oli Parr, and to the right we have Ben Uttley. How's it going, guys?
Not too bad.
All good, thanks, mate. Yeah,
Well,
thanks for having us.
great. So, firstly, I'll start with Ollie. Could you introduce yourself, please? So, just tell us a bit about yourself and how you got involved at Padiham.
Yeah, so I'm Ollie. It's my fourth season at Padiham. I joined after 12 years actually at Wally, where I was a junior at. I knew a couple of lads at Padiham, a couple of mates there, so I think I just wanted to change from Wally after being there for so long. And I just messaged Owen one day, who was captain at the time, and asked him to join. Really, never really looked back since. I think it's a great club, great lads, and even better supporters.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm Ben. I think this is my fifth season at Padiham. So I joined from Lower House. I think Padiham didn't have a keeper at the time, so I got a call off Owen, seeing if I fancied it, and it was like kind of start of like a new project at Padiham. So yeah, it's a really good club, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it to be honest.
Great. So, just having a brief look at last season, you finished third in the league and you were quarter finalist in the Hamer Cup. What did you both make of last season?
Yeah, I think last season goes a little bit unnoticed, really, because we obviously lost Jack early on and we had to get sub pros every week. I think everyone will sort of agree it's not always the easiest having sub pros because I feel like a big thing with padding is sort of gelling with everyone. And if you don't gel with your sub pro on the day, I think it's quite tough. But and especially when you're rocking up to a game, you don't know what the sub pro can do. It doesn't really start the day off amazing. So I think finishing third is quite an achievement, really. I think just goes unnoticed, but I think we did really well last year.
Good.
I like to agree but disagree as well. Like, obviously, the aim is every year to win the league, uh, and feel like in like the big crucial games, we did let ourselves down last year. Whereas like we kind of the start of the year we kind of broken duck of say we beat Little League for the first time since we joined the league. Beat Blackrod at home, they were unbeaten all last season. So I mean, it was a little bit disappointing to lose them games the way we did without showing like the best side of us.
Yeah.
But like I said, like Ollie said, with the sub pros and everything like that, you don't know who you're going to get. So we did have like a bit of consistency. We had Anik Fernando, but then at the same time, it's when he can't play, for example, when he's either playing for Rotten Skull, you'd be getting like again we did have some amazing ones like Marcus Ackerman and stuff like that, but then sometimes you get one and are they that interested or are they just after like a
Yeah.
bit of a payday? Regarding the Hamer Cup, obviously we got beat off Reed. One of them games, I think we dropped Will on about 10, and then he ended up getting 100. And it's obviously catches win matches,
Yeah.
as you know.
And obviously with Blackrod and Little going for the title last year, and obviously you had you guy and Salisbury thereabouts. Do you think on paper your team is as strong as Blackrod and Little Lever?
Yeah, definitely. I think especially this year. I think, for example, I feel like obviously we've said for years and years like, oh, we're a young team, but we're not anymore. Like we're all 25, 26, 27. It's like your prime years really. Everyone's played enough first team to be like really what's the word?
Honestly.
Ownership of your performance. So for example, it's like no one's thinking, oh, we've got say Owen Deacon pick our batting eight, and he's had how many how many runs for many a season, and you can't just say, oh, we've got Owens coming. I think people this year are really taking ownership.
Yeah. And with the Hamer Cup still contested in 2023, we got there in the end. Obviously, the first game was postponed. The second game it was postponed by light, and then obviously you managed to win midweek. So obviously the joy and stuff that brought to the club. How much did the Paddy and lads want to win silverware this season to have the same feeling they did a couple of years ago?
Yeah, so I think the way that we won the Hamer Cup last time with Settle quitting midweek, I just feel like we deserve to win it again in the right way.
Yeah.
And not really to find out in the group chat midweek when you're all sat at work. I mean, you can't really celebrate at the moment the same, can you?
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I think we've got a real chance of winning this season. I think we've got a great team, so looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I agree with Ollie. It's kind of disappointing the way we won. Obviously bad like I think we were pretty bad on settled 44 for six chasing 240 not to just call it there and then.
Mm.
Like they were never going to get them runs. Um, never in a million years. And I thought it ended up taking like 2 celebrations, didn't it? But then I think we got the trophy the week after at Falmouth,
Yeah.
and it's like a couple of people were missing that game and stuff like that. So it kind of like, and it doesn't really matter, but like on the photos or everything, like they're not kind of.
Yeah. And obviously, looking ahead into this season, you currently sit second in the league. You won 3 out of 5 games, which I think most teams out winning and losing games. Apart from your neighbours, obviously, Reed been unbeaten in first place. I think they've won 27 games and a bounce now. If you're going into last season, but before the season, what were your expectations going into this year?
I think, I mean, everyone knows the league. I think anyone can beat anyone. Sorry, and I think the standard's high. There's some good pros, there's some good amateurs, and I think every year the league changes where who's at top, who's at bottom. I think, and because it's so tight throughout the whole season, I think anything can happen. But I think we just got a great group of lads that just love rocking up on Saturdays, and that's what it's all about, really, isn't it? Just enjoying it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Toby set like a bit of a goal. Like obviously we've had a tough start with us, Reed, Black Rod, obviously champions last year, Little Lever, and it was if we can win 3 out of them 5. Obviously, no restrict to like Everton lost stock. That would obviously well, they're not Everton beaters. Um, but it's like if we can win 3 out of 5 of them, it stands in good stead for the season, really.
Yeah. And obviously, this year, I'll ask you about you because you brought in Tom Turner this year from Longridge, and he took the gloves off you this year, despite you winning the league keeping prize in the last 2 seasons. Can you tell us how that decision came about?
It's one of them. Obviously, when you get offered a player like Tom, not just with the gloves, with the bat as well, you can't really turn a player like that down.
Yeah.
Like against Little Lee, we came in, we got 15 odds to go, and he was absolutely just destructive. He kind of took him and Owen kind of took the game away from him in the first innings. And it's a bit like moments like that, for example. And it's one of them like now I've started opening the batting, so I've got that responsibility, and I don't think I've really got the brain capacity to go through 45 overs and then go and open the batting. To be honest, but no, he's a great lad, and yeah, he's not funny. He's terrible with jokes, but absolutely awful. Like, but no, he's a great lad, uh, and yeah, he's a good addition to the squad. To be honest.
Yeah, and obviously last year, I think many innings you showed yourself, like you said, to be a competent batter. You've got, you hit about 38 runs a year. You've had many other high scoring runs elsewhere. Obviously, that taking the gloves away from you, obviously, you might have still wanted to keep, but having that responsibility of batting probably still gives you that role in the team that you can offer something.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of them. It's yeah, obviously it's a responsibility, especially opening.
Yeah.
And obviously I've only been for 2 games, but it's like a completely different world. You've got to really be switched on early on, especially like the new ball with opening bowlers.
Yeah.
But no, I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to get used to it, so hopefully it goes as I want it to.
Yeah. And you touched on it there, but how was Tom settled into his new role as keeping into a new club?
Yeah, really well. I think he's had a really good start. Do you
Really
agree?
good start, yeah. He's a good lad.
He's a good lad. He's very, very good behind sticks. Very good stood up.
It gives you a bit of a confidence with balls as well, not?
Yeah,
The fact that he can stand up against certain balls and
yeah,
yeah, and taking them leg side is something I think there's a lot of confidence. So
Yeah.
it's a good addition.
And obviously this year you brought in a new pro, Iftikhar Nasir. He scored 309 runs and have taken 15 wickets so far this year. So you mentioned losing Jack Edgar was obviously a huge loss for you. But how do you think he filled Jack's boots this year?
I mean, he's got most first team runs and and behind Xander and Toby, he's got most wickets. He's a great player. He's ifty. He brings something different to our batting line. I think that we've not really had. He's explosive power and he's hitting. It really puts a lot of pressure on the opposition bowling attack. Which, I mean, I've been there before as a bowler where you're running up to ball and you're thinking no matter where you're going to bowl, it's probably going to go on the boundary.
Sam Booth.
Cheers. So. So, and you know, I'd rather be sat waiting to back watching it on my team than actually bowling it. So I think he's a great addition, and I think he's going to have a really good season.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
And did you know of him before he obviously signed for you, or is he
I
completely
didn't actually know. I just turned on.
Yeah.
He's a great player. He's got some good runs, scored a couple hundred. So to play.
Yeah,
good.
well, he's like a completely different player to Jack. Obviously, Jack were kind of the steady ship from opening the batting, opening the bowling. Obviously, Jack bowls pace, he bowls spin, so that adds something different. It gives us another, say, 12 to 15 overs in the middle of the game where, say, we've got Toby at one end, it's just you get through overs quick. So that I think it adds a bit of that, and then with the bat when he gets in, is so dangerous. Like look, we faced little leaders probably of the week, and I think that's one of the biggest.
He just embarrassed him.
And obviously he had a really good start at the leaders pro, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Especially with the ball, and he kind of took him out the attack.
First ball, hit it over halfway along.
Yeah.
Well, you got like 98 not out here and 6th for 7th for, so from that you knew it was going to be a good pro.
Yeah.
And obviously, you mentioned your captain there, Toby Burrows, but how would you describe his captain style and how did the team respond to him as skipper?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been our captain for long enough for everyone to really sort of know what he expects. He obviously wants standards being high, especially with fielding, and he'll be the first person to tell you when it's not up to standards. Just don't want to be off his ball. I mean, I feel like he knows how to get the best out of us. He knows how much we all enjoy it on Saturdays, and usually, if we're all enjoying it on Saturdays, we're usually winning. And I think because we enjoy it so much on Saturdays winning, it sort of makes us work harder not to lose them games. So we're enjoying it a lot more. So I think he just gets the best out of us, really.
Yeah. Obviously, his performances are very good. And you see sometimes the captains, if their ball or batter, their performances drop with the gain of the captaincy. Obviously, the last 4 seasons, he's taken at least 50 wickets with 83 coming last season. How good is it to have someone like him with a team who's going to get the amount of wickets he does?
But he never takes himself off, does he? No, it is. It's one of the things. He's gonna bowl 12 to 15 hours every week, and he's gonna have it on a string. He knows exactly where he's bowling it. Like when he bowls at me in the nets, he does this things like just like little things such as like say if I'm gonna charge him, kind of knows last minute and he'll like I don't really want to give anything away, but yeah, he can like kind of drop it a tad short and everything like just like literally from like the last second. I might edit that out actually. I'm out. No, he's really good to he's really good to you know what you're gonna get. It's
I mean, his consistency is something that you can rely on really
Yeah.
when you play. And I feel like some games he might bowl 15 overs, might not get many wickets, and might go for hardly any runs, and people might go, oh, it's pretty steady bowling, but it builds so much pressure on the opposition where they think, oh, we can't score runs from Toby, so we have to find somewhere else, and they'll give chances, and we'll
Yeah.
give wickets that way. So he's not always getting wickets himself, but he's building the pressure for us to get wickets as a team. So
Yeah.
it's just great to have.
And obviously, last night you won your first T20 match. You lost last week against Farridge. I think it was Barnsley last night you won against in
Yeah.
quite a close game. It seemed like.
Yeah.
How nice is it to have a win in that competition now?
Yeah. Well, 2020.
But it was an interesting game.
Yeah, it got close in the end, and
Did get close.
obviously we were on the right side of it.
At least we want to win every game, don't we?
Yeah.
So obviously that's always good about it. So it was nice to win. Forwards was a tough game last week with Nelson sub pro getting 106 off 35 balls, and that changes the game completely. But we got 200 last week, so it was quite positive to take out of the loss. But yeah, good to get a win last night.
Yeah, and obviously finals. I think you was in finals today in the first year. Yeah. So obviously that would be a good experience for you as a group as well, wouldn't it?
It's always good to be there. It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
So
You want to be there. You want to be there.
Yeah. And obviously, I want to talk about your third 11 now. They won the Birchall Cup, which is the third T20 Cup last season. You've got players who come from, I think, of Joe Edgar, who played in the third team and second team before, now playing first team cricket. How crucial is the third team at Padiham in terms of developing players to be ready for second team cricket with a view to play first team cricket?
Yeah, I mean, I think players come through the third team in all clubs, don't they? And I think it's where the sort of journey starts into adult cricket. So to have that sort of foundation sort of builds your club quite well for the future. It's crucial really to sort of focus on that. And sort of everyone wants to sort of progress and work through the teams to play the best standard they can do. And that's where your team gets better and your club as a whole gets better. Where just play keep getting better and better. So It's always crucial to have.
Yeah,
And it's,
we've had a lad come. He played quite a few first team games this year. Cam Thorne.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had 100 in the third team this year. He's been 80s, 90s in the second team. He's a really promising young player. It's a hard ball. So it's people like that that you look for in like the third team like quite early that you can develop into obviously first team cricketers.
Yeah. And do third teamers, obviously, I think you train Tuesday, Wednesday, don't you?
We train Wednesdays. So
Wednesday.
we have like a first team training Wednesday night. However, a few second team players do come who are pushing first team.
Yeah.
And then Thursday nights, maybe I think it's the second and the third. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever have like the first teamers watching the third team or the third teamers watching the first team so you can kind of learn from each other? So if you got a young spinner and I want to learn from Toby, is it kind of like bowling masterclass session with that?
Yeah, well, he does a lot of work with like Oli Parr, doesn't he?
mm,
Spinner in the seconds and thirds. And he's come on absolutely leaps and bounds over the last 2 years, I'd say. So since obviously Toby's been with him quite a bit. But yeah, there's a lot of young players at the
yeah,
moment.
they do go and watch.
They do
A
go and
lot of them were over last night, and we'll always try and make the effort to go and watch them.
Oh, that's good. And talk about the NWCL. I don't know if you've seen, but we're looking to expand the league with new clubs. What would you say the positives that you and Padiham have experienced since the merger?
Yeah, so I think the main positive is sort of playing against like more and better teams. I think the standard's gone up in the past couple of years, and it makes certain teams, especially us, we bat all the way down the order. And I mean, like certain bowlers, like last season, got like 40 odd wickets, and like sometimes they're not even bowling this year. So I think the standard's getting up. So I think it makes people work harder for the sport, so they'll train harder, and that just makes them become a better player. And if everyone does that, the whole club gets better. I think it's a big positive for our club, especially.
Yeah. And I interviewed Jamil the other day, and I think he mentioned that first year in the first team, every team played each other in the
Yeah,
competitive. You really couldn't be there because you might win game, you lose game, and then last season the competitive increased. I think this season the competitive is really high. You mentioned before every team's winning each other.
mm,
Would you agree with him in terms of this year's the most competitive year we've ever had?
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it just gets more competitive every season, really. But it just gets better and better. So yeah, so
Well, I think anyone could beat anyone. Like genuinely, anyone can beat anyone. Like that first season, there was some games where you're rocking up and it were like no disrespect to all of you, but you're born off like 30, 40. Whereas now, this if you like that'd be the rarest thing ever in this league. It's anyone literally can beat anybody on the day.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it is really competitive, and I don't think anyone's going to run away with it this year.
No, I think obviously you got Reed up there, you guys, Salisbury, and you never know if we win today, we go above you in the league. So it's one
yeah,
game changes everything, and that's if there's so little points in it, that makes the league ever so competitive, and that's obviously really good to see.
Yeah.
But what would you say the league's main asset is to attract new clubs from other leagues?
I think it's the promotion and relegation. I think that's a big one. Where not like when we had Ribblesdale League, you win the league and you don't nothing happens really, or you get finished bottom, nothing happens. So I think there's not much of a drive sometimes.
Yeah,
But I think it's quite good that we've got a bit of a promotion relegation. I mean, there's some great rivalries as well, which obviously attracts players to be a bit more committed. I mean,
Like you kind of make rivalries, don't you? Like we've made, like we have teams. Obviously, you get on the team with some teams better than you do with others.
yeah,
Like
yeah, it's different rivalries
yeah, it's
that you
different
didn't used to
rivalries.
have.
Yeah, like you
Yeah,
didn't used to have, and it's got like on the pitch, it kind of ramps up, especially because obviously all you want to do is win, and
yeah,
it's kind of chasing that, especially in such a
mm.
tight league.
And
yeah,
obviously it attracts it attracts visitors to go and watch them. So I feel it just gets busier and busier. Then people want to get involved, and then the younger generation even come and watch it. They think, oh, we'll get involved, and the club just gets, well, the league just gets bigger and bigger. 'Cause more
yeah,
people want to play.
Well, for example, like we've attracted Tom Turner to come play in this league this year,
yeah,
and obviously he won LCB Cup at Longridge, like won the league at Longridge. So it's like players like that. It's not just clubs, players as well.
yeah.
Like you see how many signings some of the teams have made this year, and some of the players they brought in. It's yeah, it's the standards just keep getting
Yeah.
better and better.
I don't know what it was like in the Ribblesdale League. I know in Bolton League, I think communication wasn't really there. It should be. Obviously, clubs and players, you want transparency in decisions from the exec. You want to know not just right. You want to know the Hemmer Cup draws, the round bottom cup draws. So if they've made a decision about X, you want to know, oh, why have they made that decision? As to you as players, obviously it's important that gets communicated to clubs, but it's also important it gets communicated to the players, the officials, everything like that. But what would you say in the last two and a bit years the communication's been in the league?
You kind of know what's happening. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? You kind of know what's going on. Like, for example, I think a lot with what you do on social media as well. You kind of you are really updated, such as like the draw last week. We were playing at Cheshire Lions. I watch it live streaming, car.
yeah,
You know, stuff like that. So
yeah,
you kind of not just going like you're not waiting for a text off your captain. You can kind of see everything that is happening with the league and everything.
Mm.
So yeah, I think
yeah.
it's really good.
So that's good. So I've done with this with most people I've interviewed, and some quick fire questions. So the first part will be about yourselves, and the second part will be about your Padiham teammates. And I've sent you these questions in advance. So if we go Ollie first, and then
Yeah,
you can give your. So first of all, your favourite cricketing memory.
My favourite cricket memory, it's one specific wicket. It was it was the Hamer Cup final when Ben Swindles got settled away out, and it was probably their last batter that we thought could get any runs because they were chasing
Mm.
240 and then they quit. Um, and I just think the celebration of that wicket, I think we just knew we won it by then, and because it was last year, because it was the Farmouth, we've like clipped the video, so it always keeps going back into group chat here and there. So I think it's something that sticks in my head and sticks in quite a lot of the lads' heads. So that's probably my favourite
That's good.
moment.
I've got two. Obviously, one of them's not been actually at Padiham. It's Law House. We beat Burnley in the World Cup final. I think there were about 3,000 to 4,000 people on that game. Um, obviously, like, I started off at Burnley and went to Law House, so it was quite a big thing. All my family played for Burnley growing up and everything. So yeah, and obviously that's a massive local derby. And then obviously the Hamer Cup. I think the Hamer Cup has a bit more of an involvement in it. That was what like the celebrations after the games were absolutely yeah the best ever.
Was that the first trophy at Padiham you've won, the Himmer Cup?
Uh, yeah, for us, I think
First one open, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
first ones we've won, yeah.
good. And the best amateur player that you've played with and against?
With it's probably Lee Casely, who was at Whalley, and he's Whalley's all-time run scorer. And he was sort of my not my coach, but he was sort of one of the coaches as I was a junior, and I sort of got to play with him towards the end of his career. So that was always quite good. I always looked up at him, thinking probably one of the best batters I've seen.
Yeah.
And then I did a season over in Australia, and my captain there, Corey Taylor, and I don't think I've ever seen someone hit ball better than him. So I thought I'd mention him. I think he's one of the best. So yeah, it was good to play with him.
Yeah.
I think the best I've played with would probably be there's two for two different reasons.
Yeah.
Obviously, get your longevity of like Chris Blazard, and like any time you're in like rubbish, you could literally rely on him to get 60, 70, and just so calmly. Like I remember batting with him, especially being like 17, 18. That was such like a calming thing when I was batting with him. And then second one, probably Charlie Cotton at Law House as well. Whenever it came to like a big game, such as like a final or like a big game to when you're competing with the league, it was just something. It always just seemed to just step up.
Yeah.
With it, even if it was just like a 40 odd, 50 odd, it'd be like the match changing kind of thing.
Yeah. And what about the best amateur player that you've played against?
Probably just say Tyler McGladry. I don't think I've really played against. What?
That was excellent.
Yeah, probably Tyler McGladry. I don't think I've played against many better than him really. So probably him.
I'd say probably Graham Knowles, who were at Hasland, and he scored over like 10,000 runs. It was my debut for Laurels, and I think he got 90 off 60 balls, and he just kept hitting. It was like on a street, he just kept like it's like sweeping it six, hitting it straight for six. I like that. Wow.
And the biggest pet peeve in amateur cricket?
Well, I've got two. So it's when it's marked middle using the bail. Why can't you just be normal and just mark it with your foot like everyone else does?
There's only one person who does that.
I don't know anything about. And also I've got another one. Is when as a bowler when you're bowling and batters are sort of on top of you, really, you're hitting it everywhere. And a fielder is telling you to put fielder wherever the ball goes. It's like give us a chance, Cal. I mean, it's tough to do. So that's one of my pet peeves.
My biggest one is when the scoreboard's wrong.
Mm,
Oh my god, it drives me absolutely insane.
mm,
Like I ain't got the best attention span as it is, and when that's going up and down when I'm batting,
Yeah.
it sends me into absolute
OCD, don't you?
sensory overload. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet it's similar when if you got DLS as well, when you got the DLS changing every over, and better extra scores for you.
Works.
Is that what's that?
Douglas Lewis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Train.
Yeah. And the best club for tees, and let's focus on the North West Cricket League.
Right. So I'm going to say Farnworth. So Farnworth they've got the best hot and cold selections I think you can have. They've got well-made sandwiches. They've got good desserts. But I think what they do two things really well at Farnworth. Plate sizes, fantastic. You don't have little sauces, amazing. And also the layout of where they put the food. I think
It's like a buffet, isn't
it's
it?
just perfect. And so they're my favourite.
Best one I've had is probably Kersley. They have like these like last time we got buffalo chicken wings and stuff like that. And I don't really eat teas. I usually bring my own. But then at Kersley, I had that one. It was really good.
And do you feel, obviously, as a bowler and now batter and ex-keeper, what would you say, obviously, having teas, do you think sometimes you might limit what you eat depending on whether you're going to go out? So when you kept last year, if you was keeping second innings, would you eat less or would you be a bit more apprehensive about it?
Yeah, sometimes you don't want
You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to be having like 2 full pizzas in before you're going out. But,
Yeah.
If we're batting, I'm batting 10. I don't know. I'm about 4 brews, feet up. But no, when we're going out to bowl after, I probably don't try and eat as much.
No. And the last one in this section, the winning meal on a Saturday after cricket.
So you go to Romero's in Whalley. You got a big tray. You got chicken and chips with chili sauce, garlic sauce, and barbecue.
Barbecue sauce, yeah.
And you actually call it. I actually got it on the menu as the Ollie special. So I started having it at Whalley. You could go in and order Ollie special. And for a drink, I'd have how much? Cheers. Probably a tequila rosé out of Matty Butcher's belly button. And that's the perfect sort of night. And Ed Moore can back me up on that. That was his favourite drink. So
Yeah, we had the top players at our club the other week, and they're on belly button shots.
yeah.
I love an Indian, me.
Indian.
Yeah, but if I've got a game the next day, it's probably not the best idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you got a triple header this weekend, haven't you?
Yeah,
Played one yesterday.
Travelling this weekend.
Yeah. Are you playing them tomorrow?
Cherry Tree.
Cherry Tree. All right. So now we're moving to your teammates. Quick fire question. So you can both give your opinions on this as well. So first one is the funniest player.
Me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say the Swindles.
Yeah, I'd say Ben Swindles. Yeah,
not many people make me laugh like it.
No, he makes me giggle.
Did you make you laugh on the cricket field and off the field, or is it just?
Yeah.
Funny.
It's more like for example the warm up. So Tom Turner's meant to start doing.
He's actually instructor at the moment.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually right.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so he does like these yoga stretches with him, and there's one called is it the parachute,
Yeah.
and we need help getting into position.
It's just even though it happens every week, it's just so funny. So,
Yeah.
he's a good lad.
But yeah, our after game is just he's hilarious.
And who gets the most fines?
So it used to be Ben, but now it's Tom Turner. He's an absolute walking fine. From being late to games and blaming his dad to not showing up to training, he's just an absolute walking fine.
And then booking an holiday, lying about how many days he were going, lying about his missus booking it and him not being involved in it, and missing 6 games in 2 weeks. I think that's horrendous. And we have a thing, so if you miss a game and it's not a valid reason, like a holiday,
it's not a valid reason.
It's not a valid reason. Like you go after cricket season, especially when you're competing for a league, it's £20 a game.
Oh.
So it's cheaper actually for him not to go on holiday.
That's it.
So do you have like a fine system in place, or is it just Toby who does it, or is it generally like a team thing?
We have a committee.
I'm actually fines master.
You are?
We take it quite seriously.
Yeah.
Have you got him in there?
Excel, I don't know, Excel spreadsheets, and you know what I mean. We don't mess about.
Yeah.
And do you kind of do like a full end of season do out with all the fines you have?
Yeah. So last year we went to Dublin. Year before that we went to Barcelona. So we pride ourselves on the end of season.
We have we end up racking up quite a bit of money at the end.
Oh.
Obviously we put all the collections in as well. So we've had a few decent collections in as well this year. So
How much did you have last year in it?
About £3 last year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pace of flights.
yeah.
Yeah.
And judging, I've seen you play last year, so I wonder who's going to be this one. The biggest ledger.
See, I don't think we have too many. I think we're all too nice.
Yeah.
You say some stupid things that don't really make sense, but I'd probably say Kurt Robbo, who's
Yeah.
playing today, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't like to play against him. He can say small stuff, so I'd probably say Kurt Robbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I will say, when you was here last season, you was keeping. I've never seen a keeper talk as much as you do.
Yeah, we don't say anything.
I don't say anything bad.
That's so stupid.
I just talk rubbish. I'll bring in Leeds.
Oh.
Yeah.
And who's the angriest after getting out?
Oh, it's Tom Turner. And
Tom Turner.
keep saying him, but like,
But it's like dramatic.
his helmets are flying, blood sugars are all over. It's an absolute
Prepared.
But
it's like dramatic, isn't it?
Yeah,
It don't look like he's doing it angrily. It looks like he's more in like a film.
it's like he's acting.
Yeah. And it's like oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're one of those players who kind of like don't do nothing until they get to the change rooms and then they just really go off.
He can have more on pitch, can't he? Last week.
Like Jeff White were bad some weeks when he plays.
Yeah,
But no, it's
Tommy's just dramatic.
yeah, it's more dramatic. I don't actually think he's angry.
Yeah.
I think he just wants to be dramatic.
And the last one, the most underrated player in your team.
Well, Bailey Uttley Muldoon's coming back at the moment. I think when he gets it right, he's a little bit unplayable. But it's just when he gets it right, he's not played for a while. But I'll probably say him really.
Yeah.
I'd say Oli actually.
Yep.
He's not close. But no, like for example, like this fixture last year at our place, he took Farfer. He literally got pro out, away out. He literally took out the top order. I think his record of getting pros out, especially last year, was absolutely second to none. And I don't think he actually gets the credit he does deserve. And as well, he can hit a very, very big ball. Can't you?
Cheers.
Yeah. I would you see Toby your team is getting wickets. Would you see that kind of obviously I mentioned that kind of puts you under the radar a bit because you got him there getting wicket, obviously all the teams saying, well, we can't get out to rim. I mean sometimes you're balling with Toby on the other end, they might have to pick someone to go for.
Yeah.
I think that makes it easy for you, that make it difficult for you.
It's tough here because sometimes it just does come off and it's just start whacking you everywhere.
Yeah.
So your confidence goes down and you think to yourself, "Oh, they're only trying to whack me because they can't whack Toby." Other than sometimes it comes off, so it changes every game. It's probably hit and miss.
Depends who you're playing against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not always the easiest bowling with him, especially when his standards are so high and he's a much better bowler than me.
Yeah.
Yourself under pressure, thinking, "Oh, I can't go for as many runs as Toby," but he goes for like 20 runs off 15 overs.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get it for 20.
But he can really turn it on.
No. Well, I think that's all the questions I have. Anything that you two would like to add before we finish?
What's your prediction for the top 4 this year?
Oh, top 4. I won't say in order. I would say Reed, Little Lever, Padiham, and that last one's a bit hard. I think I don't want to say me because they did it last year. I would probably say, you know what? I'll say Tong just because.
Yeah, sure.
Just because it's my club. Yeah.
Bias, but
Yeah.
So have you got any underrated players in the league this year?
In the league,
you can think of, or
or
maybe ones to watch.
one to watch in the league. Oh Jesus. I will probably say. Oh, trying to think of someone I can. You know what? One of our players, George Lever, he got left arm spin. He got a 5 for yesterday, and second teamer last year, coming to first team. You know, very economical bowler. You know, gets wickets. I think he might be someone to want to watch. Maybe not in 40, 50 wickets a season, but he will certainly prove a few people wrong.
Yeah. And who's the best pro you've seen play? Like say at Tong, like in a games could be the Tong.
I feel like the best pro or best performance I've seen.
Yeah, best performance.
Oh, best performance I've seen. Well, I've seen Hasham get a century and a 5 against Horwich a couple of years ago in Bolton League. But I probably would say, start first game of the season, Mohamed Junaid from Little Lever got 98 not out and got a 6 for a 7 for. He got dropped on like 8.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably see the best pro I've seen. But yeah, I think that's all the questions I have. I'll thank you for coming on, and
Yeah.
I wish you best of luck for this season. Besides today's game, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, thank you very much, and just keep doing what you're doing. I think it's absolutely brilliant what you're doing with social media, to be honest, pal.
brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers,
See you
pal.
soon.
Thank you.
Cheers.